I'm Aaron from PhoneDoc.com, and for the past 16 days, I've been using Samsung's supersized smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. It's coming to the US on 5 different carriers later in the year. Here are some things that I've discovered between the last video and this video. 16 days with the Galaxy Note 2, and honestly I can't tell you any new features that I picked up since then. Really what it's been all about these past couple of weeks is discovering how comfortable I am with the size, how comfortable I am with the S Pen, and a lot of the stuff that I've noticed was in the first couple of days, and those features just continue to be useful. For example, the S Pen, like I talked about in another video, it's longer, it's bigger, and easier to type on the display, but I find myself with this device, with the Note 2, using the pen a lot more than I did on the previous version. So you can see here again, very responsive, recap, 1.6 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor, very fast all around, and it's running Android 4.1. So I find it, when I go from a device like this back to the Galaxy S3 or to the One X that are still running on Android 4.0, I do find that to be a little bit of a change. The fact that I'm used to Android 4.1, and overall I've been really pleased with Android 4.1. Another thing I'm really finding in 16 days in with this device is, first couple of days I talked about the size not being as much of an issue, and it isn't. Given in comparison to the original Galaxy Note, it's easier to hold in the hand. That said, after working with the Galaxy S3 for the better part of 4 months and carrying the Galaxy S3 as my personal device for the better part of 4 months, I'm finding myself once again being a little bit frustrated with the size of this device. Even though I can wrap my hands around it, I find that when I put it in my pocket, it tends to stick out from about here up, making it really hard to sit down when you're wearing jeans or have it in your pocket in general. It's a big device, and it's meaty all around, it's nice and thick and big, but I do find that to be an issue, and I'm finding, more, it's funny because I look, the first couple of days I was like, this isn't as big of a deal, and I found that on day 10, kind of day 10 and day 12 and day 14 as I creeped up to where I am right now, I was like, you know what, the size is a little bit of an issue. That said, it's a trade-off, and I find that in a lot of this stuff, you gotta make a decision for you which features are gonna be more important. So yes, this is a bigger device, but what it does pack is a 3,100 milliamp hour battery, so you get better battery life. It packs a larger HD display at 5.5 inches, so you get a bigger display to work with, and you have cool abilities, like I can press and hold and take screenshots with the S Pen and then draw on those. Well, we're not going to use white, that probably wouldn't look too good, but we can draw on these and take notes. So it's perfect for classroom use, it's perfect for business use, take notes in meetings and do things like that, and then send this out to your colleagues or to your classmates. That is a very useful application. I'm also finding, like I talked about in a previous video, that the S Pen is far more responsive, and I've noticed that it's a lot more responsive, more accurate to typical writing. What I mean by that is when you look at this in comparison to the original Note, you'll find that the writing is a little bit more real. You can see, for example, when I type my name, that's a little bit more how my name would actually look if I were writing this on a real piece of paper. I often found that the Note 1 had an issue transcribing, at least in a real way. This actually looks like my handwriting, and my handwriting is clearly very, very bad, but this actually looks like my handwriting. And then, of course, like I said, 3,100 milliamp hour battery. And you ask yourself, Aaron, why do you care about a 3,100 milliamp hour battery? Well, it's because I still use my phone for quite a bit of talking, quite a bit of web browsing, and a ton of email on a given day. On a given day, I get 300 to 400 emails. That battery life is crucial. And granted, this is not running on 4G LTE because it's an international device. That said, I do find the battery to be relatively decent here. Actually, beyond decent, fantastic on all counts. I can get easily into about a day and a half with pretty heavy use before this device powers down, making it a nice option for those that are on the road a lot. And yes, it does take a while to charge. It's a typical Samsung device. It does take its time, but when you do get it charged and you have a spare battery, this could be a perfect solution for those people that are on the road for days and may or may not have access to in-car technology like car chargers. Again, I love little features like this. We talked about this previously in the software. I love those features like palm swipe to take a screenshot, smart rotation where it automatically detects where my face is turning. So for example, if my face is out here, let's open up the web browser and I go to turn it, it will detect and take a look, and obviously my face did not turn, but if I'm laying in bed and my face turns with the display, it'll stay in portrait mode. Great little features like that make this device very useful, and I think for a lot of people, again, it's going to be less of a, well, the Galaxy S3 is small and this is big kind of argument. It's going to be more like, hey, this is a big phone, but it's got a big battery, a nice big battery for long battery life. It's got a fast processor. It's packing Android 4.1, so the features outweigh the size. I think that's really going to be the conversation this time around, whereas before, the Note 1 didn't really bring anything new in terms of software and in terms of overall hardware, screen aside, to the table. So it was kind of like, hey, I can get this, or I can get that 4.5-inch device that has basically the same features. A little bit different this time around as the Note 2 gets ready to come out. Another thing I want to highlight is Google Now. We'll take a look And of course, when I press and hold the home button, I've got my recent applications, and here it is for Google Now. And of course, you can see, what's the weather in Charlotte?
It's 71 degrees and partly cloudy in Charlotte.
So you do get Google Now integration, and of course you can see there as well. I've got my screenshot that I captured, and then you can see 71 partly cloudy, so you do get those notifications in the notifications bar from time to time as well. That's something to keep in mind. Also, great for big things, or the big screen rather, is great for things like Twitter. You can see my Twitter account loaded up here. For example, one of my Twitter accounts, my non-work one. And you can see here, you know, again, great for devices like that, or great for things like that. Nice big display, makes it easy to read tweets, makes it easy to type. You can see I can start a new tweet, for example. And you can see nice big keypad here in portrait or in landscape. Should go into landscape mode. There we go. In landscape mode, and because of a 5.5-inch display, this device has been exceptionally easy to type on. And of course, you can use the S Pen to either use it for hunting and pecking, or you can switch over to handwriting input and access it that way. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. This is day 16 of a 30-day challenge with the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, so be sure to keep it locked on the site. Hit me up on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Let me know what you think of this device, and we'll take a look as we continue on in the 30-day challenge. It's some new features as time goes on. Keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage, and as always, I'll see you next time with the next video in the 30-day challenge.